Good morning, Arshit. Okay, so today, as I said, you'll see another uh, category in root locus design. The previous classes, we have taken a few examples for analyzing the root locus for the provided problem. We have tried our level best to uh, understand how. So here again, it's a different. Uh, uh, the statement is same, but the problem is different. So we will see how it differs actually. So what is that statement says? Obtain the root locus plot for the following block diagram reduction technique in terms directly saying that your forward path transfer function, open loop transfer function. So let me try that. So from the block diagram, I am taking my forward path transfer function, and you can see that the feedback is unity. So I can straight away write that the open loop transfer function g of s h of s is equal to k into s plus 2 s plus 3 by s into s plus 1. Let me correct that. Okay. So in what way this is going to differ? Yesterday at the end of the lecture, I told you that if you have same number of poles and zeros, you have a problem in finding out the asymptotes, in finding out the centroid. Okay, it is been meant, it has to be clearly seen that you have the number of zeros and poles are equal here. You can see that the number of zeros m is equal to the numerator polynomial. You get it like 2. How you got it? S plus 2 into s plus 3 is equal to 0, which provides s is equal to minus 2 and minus 3. These are zeros. You obtain it from the numerator polynomial. Same way, if you see the number of poles, we say it like n. Again, it is 2. S into s plus 1 is equal to 0, which implies s is equal to 0 and s is equal to minus 1. Any doubts so far? Identifying the poles and zeros in your given transfer function. Any doubts? Meanwhile, also tell me whether my slides and my slides is clear and my audio is also is clear actually. Yes, everybody in the class. Yes. Only Shibi Varshit is answering. Okay. What about the others? Is my voice clear? Whether the slides are clearly visible? Okay. Any doubts so far? So the number of root locus branches, the number of root locus branches is equal to the number of poles. That is n, which is equal to 2. So you will have 2 branches. From each pole, it will start and it will end at each 0. So what about the number of asymptotes? Number of asymptotes. Asymptotes is equal to n minus m, which is equal to 0. So there is no need for an asymptote. Can anybody say why you doesn't need an asymptote? Asymptote இங்கே தேவைப்படாது ஏன்? Anybody? So if you know what is the need of an asymptote, what is the need of an asymptote? Asymptotes are the guiding lines. எதுக்கு கைட் பண்ணணும்? நம்மகிட்ட 0 இல்ல, ஃபைனைட் 0 இல்ல, ஆனா போல்ல ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகி அது 0ல போய் முடியணும் ரூட் லோக்கஸ். நம்மகிட்ட என்ன இல்ல, ஃபைனைட் ஜீரோஸ் இல்ல. அப்ப இன்ஃபைனைட்ல இருக்க ஜீரோஸ் அது மீட் பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கிற அசம்ஷன்ல அதை கூட்டிட்டு போகக்கூடிய கைடு பண்ணக்கூடிய லைன்ஸ் தான் அசிம்டோட்ஸ். அப்போ இங்க we have 2 finite poles as well as 2 finite zeros. So every pole is possible to end at the any of that zero, finite zero. Okay, each pole will will start from each root locus branch will start from a finite pole and it will end at a finite 0. So there is no need for an asymptote. So there is no need for a centroid also. That is why you cannot calculate that n minus m is equal to 0. You will not be able to calculate your asymptotes or centroid there. So the number of asymptotes is 0 here. Number of root locus branch is going to be 2 based on the number of poles. So we will locate our poles and zeros. I hope that you also parallelly simultaneously join me in doing that problem. So this is your S plane. So this is your S plane, j omega minus j omega So your poles are S is equal to 0 and S is equal to minus 1. What about your 0? Your zeros are S is equal to minus 2 and S is equal to minus 3. Is that okay? Hello, people in the class? Is that okay? Any doubts so far? So we have identified the poles and zeros and we have located them in the S plane. What is my next stage or next step? Let me draw that again. Sigma minus sigma j omega minus j omega your poles are S is equal to 0, S is equal to minus 1. Your zeros are S is equal to minus 2 and S is equal to minus 3. This is your S plane. So what is my next work? I have to know where my root locus branch passes in the real axis. Okay, if I take a test point between 0 and minus 1, to the right side of any test point between 0 and minus 1, you will have only one pole, which is an odd number. So what will you have? From 0 to minus 1, there is a possibility of having a root locus. If I take any test point between minus 1 and minus 2, to the right side of the point, you will have two poles there. 2 is an even number, so you will not have it. Again, if I take a test point between minus 2 and minus 3, to the right side of that point, any point between minus 2 and minus 3, you will have two poles and one zero, which is 3, an odd number. So possibly between minus 3 to minus 2, you will have a root locus branch. So there is a possibility of having a root locus branch between 0 and minus 1 and minus 2 and minus 3. Is that okay? Based on the test points. Now, since what I can say, since the poles, the number of poles and number of zeros are equal, okay, there is no need for asymptotes and centroid, because n minus m is equal to 0, which will provide me theta is infinite. Okay, so there is no need for these are I cannot go for centroid. Okay, so this is all the things we have to note down. This is a type of problem. Okay, what is the next step? Then we have to see whether you are able to get a breakaway point or break-in point. Here in this problem, you will identify that you will get a breakaway and a break-in because you have adjacent poles. Since adjacent poles, so possibility of a breakaway point. Same way, since adjacent zeros. What are adjacent poles? Adjacent poles are s is equal to 0 and s is equal to minus 1. They are adjacent. Same way, adjacent zeros and s is equal to minus 2 and s is equal to minus 3. So, possibility of break in point. Break in point. So, how to find that? You go for your characteristic equation. 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0. Now, you substitute that. What is that? Which implies 1 plus k. Numerator, you will have s plus 2, s plus 3 divided by s into s plus 1 is equal to 0. So, which will provide me s into s plus 1. Is that right? S into s plus 1 plus k into s plus 2 into s plus 3 is equal to 0. So, from which I can write k is equal to minus of, okay, minus of s into s plus 1 divided by s plus 2 into s plus 3. I will take the same to the next slide. So, k is equal to minus of s into s plus 1 divided by s plus 2 s plus 3. What is my next step? I have to find what is dk by ds. What is dk by ds? U by v form. So, s plus 2 s plus 3 the whole squared, s plus 2 s plus 3 the whole squared, you will get 2s plus 1, 2s plus 1, s plus 2 s plus 3 minus of s into s plus 1 into 2s plus 5. If you take u by v formula, udv minus vdu minus udv divided by v squared. You know that formula, I hope so. I think that you know that formula. So if you apply that, this is going to be there. So if you solve that, if you put dk by ds is equal to 0, you will get s is equal to minus 0.364 and s is equal to minus 2.366. And if you substitute that in the k, if you take s is equal to these two values and substitute it, okay, you will get, if you substitute s is equal to minus, if s is equal to minus 0.634, then k is equal to, from this form, from this, if you substitute s is equal to this, you will get 0.0718, which is a positive value. So, okay, it has to be considered as a breakaway or a break-in based on the location of the point. Okay, we will see what the point is. And again, you check with the other point, 2.366. You will get k is equal to 14, which is also positive. Which is also positive. So this is lying. If you take the diagram, minus j omega, locate the poles. S is equal to 0, s is equal to minus 1. Locate the zeros, minus 2 and minus 3. Now look at that, where the point lies. One point lies at s is equal to 0.634, which is lying here, minus 0.634. So it is between the adjacent poles, so you call it as a breakaway point. Okay. What about the other point? S is equal to minus 2.366, which is lying here, which is between adjacent zeros, which is minus 2.366. Which is a break-in point. So what is a breakaway point? The point between adjacent poles is called as a breakaway point, where the root locus starting from the poles comes there, meet each other, then go away to meet the zeros at infinity or some finite zero somewhere else. What is the break-in point? Somewhere from the poles, the root locus branches starts and they try to come and meet at a point, then they leave to meet at zero. They leave to meet the zeros, finite zeros or infinite zeros. The point where they meet and leave to zeros, you call it as break-in point. And the points where they meet and leave away from poles, actually, we call it as breakaway. So we have both breakaway and break-in here. Any doubts? Hello? Any doubts, please? இதில் ஏதாவது ஒரு ஸ்டெப் புரியலனா என்னை கேட்டுடலாம். Any step? So far, whatever we have discussed, right from my first step to the point where we have stopped now. Hello? Everybody? என்னாச்சுப்பா ஒருத்தர் பதில் இல்லை. புரிஞ்சுதா புரியலையா? பிரேக்அவே பாயிண்ட்னா என்ன, பிரேக் இன் பாயிண்ட்னா என்னன்னு அதுக்கு முன்னாடி அசிம்டோடு தேவையில்லை அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம். அசிம்டோடு ஏன் தேவையில்லைன்னு பார்த்தோம். ஏன் அப்படின்னா ஃபைனைட் டு ஜீரோ, ஃபைனைட் போல் இருக்கு, ரெண்டும் ஈக்குவலா இருக்கு. நம்பர் ஆஃப் போல்ஸும் நம்பர் ஆஃப் ஜீரோஸும் இருந்து ஈக்குவலா இருந்தது அப்படின்னா நமக்கு அசிம்டோடு தேவையில்லை. ஏன் அசிம்டோடு தேவையில்லை? அசிம்டோடுங்கிறது என்ன? ஓகே, அசிம்டோடுங்கிறது என்ன? ரூட் லோக்கஸ் பிரான்ச்சை அதோடைய இன்ஃபைனைட் ஜீரோல கொண்டு போய் போல்ல இருந்து கொண்டு போய் ஃபைனைட் போல்ல இருந்து இன்ஃபைனைட்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய ஜீரோவுக்கு கொண்டு போகக்கூடிய ஒரு கைடிங் லைன் தான். இங்க ஏற்கனவே ஃபைனைட் ஜீரோ இருக்கிறதுனால நம்பர் ஆஃப் போல்ஸுக்கும் நம்பர் ஆஃப் ஜீரோஸுக்கும் வேறுபாடு இல்லை, ரெண்டும் ஈக்குவலா இருக்கிறதுனால இதுல இருந்து ஏதோ ஒரு போல்ல இருந்து ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணக்கூடியது இங்க இருக்கக்கூடிய ஏதோ ஒரு ஜீரோல போய் முடிஞ்சிடும். அப்ப அதை நம்ம தனியா கைட் பண்ண வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. இஸ் தட் ஓகே? ஹலோ, please respond so that I can know which you understood and which you have not. இது வரைக்கும் சொன்னதுல எந்த பாயிண்டாவது உனக்கு புரியாம இருக்கா? Anybody? Any point which so far we have discussed, whether you have a doubt? Anyway, we will see later too, right? So this is breakaway and break-in. What is my next step? I have to know whether I need a angle of departure or angle of arrival. I don't want it because all the poles and zeros are real numbers. They are not complex conjugate. No poles is complex conjugate, so it doesn't want angle of departure. No zeros is also complex conjugate or not complex conjugate, so it doesn't want angle of arrival. So that is not required. So how to know where it crosses your j omega axis? That's very simple actually. So what we will do, we have a shortcut here. Rather than putting s is equal to some value j omega and so trying to substitute that from the characteristic equation, okay, we will have a take your break-in and breakaway points. You take these two, break-in and breakaway points, then add them. Sum is equal to, okay, if you add these two, what will you get? And divided by 2. If you add these two and divided it by 2, what will you get? You will get 1.5. If you add these two, and if you divide it by 2, you will get 1.5. And if you find the difference between and you divide it by 2, you will get 0.866. Okay, so what these two calculations provides you? This provides the root locus structure of the root locus, and this is going to be your center, and this is going to be your radius. You will get a root locus of a shaped circle. Shape of root locus will be circle, and the radius of the circle is 0.866 and the center of the circle is 1.5. So what you have to do, you have to choose 1.5, that is minus 1.5. Okay, minus 1.5 as the center, and take radius on both sides to all directions. Take radius, or you take a compass, fix your pencil, take a radius, measure 0.866 from minus 1.5. If you say your root locus will be like this, I will take the highlighter and draw. It will be looking like this. Please assume this as a circle. Don't say it's an ellipse or something like that. It is circle. Okay, it is not a perfect circle, but anyway, you have to assume it. So this is the center, and the radius here is 0.866. So this is also going to be 0.866. Here also it is going to be 0. I'm sorry. This should not cross that. Actually, this should not cross it actually, because let me choose that. You will see that this is the center, and this will pass through this actually. Now it is okay. Okay, so this root locus starts from the poles. It will meet the breakaway point, comes here, it meets in the break-in point and goes back. I will also draw that using a normal diagram. You can see that it starts from here, one pole, then the second pole meets at the breakaway point, then one root locus go this way, come here, another root locus starts from here, it goes here, again meet it, go back to zeros. So this is the direction. Anyway, I will try to draw in a little bigger way so that all the markings are little clear. J omega minus j omega, sigma minus sigma. Your poles are s is equal to 0, s is equal to minus 1, and your zeros are s is equal to minus 2, s is equal to minus 3. And one of your breakaway point is minus 0.6. Okay, so now let me choose another better color for visibility. So the root locus branch starts from the pole, one pole, it meets the break-in point, breakaway point. In between we have found that center minus 1.5. The radius is 0.866, and here also the radius should be 0.866. Here also it is 0. So you will get a circle. So the direction of the root locus is it starts from the pole, it meets then it meets the zero set finite value minus 2 and minus 3. This is your S plane. That's it. So this system is highly stable because you will not have any, for any value of k, for any value of k, it is going to lie in the left hand side only. Since it is lying on the left hand side for any value of k from 0 to infinity, this is going to have a highly stable nature. Maybe relative stability may change. What is relative stability? If the pole location or if the roots are near the j omega axis, the dynamics of the system will be little oscillatory. If it is moving away from the j omega axis, the system will not have much oscillations. So the dynamics is going to change. So, but it is going to be stable. So this is a this is called as this is the root locus design for your provided problem transfer function. Any doubts? So one comment I can provide for smaller values of k. What is smaller values of k? From the available value, if k varies from 0 to 0.0718, it seems to be an overdamp. And if it varies from 0.0718 k less than 14, it is going to be underdamped. If you substitute these values, you probably will get zeta value to be between 0 and 1. And if it is most probably if it lies k is greater than 14, okay, if even if you go for k is greater than 14, you will get an overdamped again. Okay, if k is it okay? Hello. So we have found that k value also. That is what we have derived it here at this stage breakaway point. Okay, based on that only we are commenting. If it lies between these values of 0 to 0.718, where it reaches its breakaway point, okay, it behaves as an overdamped system. And if it lies between these 2 points, it behaves as an underdamped system, and it goes again, the zeta value will be more than 1. So again, it's an overdamped system. Any doubts? So since it is in left hand side, okay, system is highly stable. It will not become unstable by varying k, unless otherwise you put another extraordinary efforts to make it unstable. You add some transfer function to it, and if you add a right hand side 0, probably maybe right hand pole, probably you may get a 0. You may get an unstable character if it is there exist in the if you in your controller or something. If you are putting some a system which is having a right hand pole, then obviously this system may become unstable based on the k value again. Any doubts? Any doubts so far? So let me revise whatever we have discussed today. This is very simple and very important too. One type of root locus type. Okay, you can see that the provided system is this. From that system, you can see that you have two poles, you have two zeros. So equal number of poles and zeros are there. So probably you doesn't need a asymptote or a centroid to be drawn, because always root locus is nothing but a branch or the variation or the path taken with the roots or the poles. Okay, from open loop pole, and it will end at an open loop 0. So we have both equal number of poles and zeros here. So every root locus branch which starts from a pole will end at a finite 0. So there is no need for a guiding line. So no need for an asymptote. Locate those points, find the test points. Based on the test points, you can see where your root locus branches will be there available in your real axis. You are testing it. You have from the diagram you can see second diagram. Then you try to find what is breakaway and break in, because you have an adjacent pole and an adjacent 0. There is a possibility of having a breakaway and break in. So take your characteristic equation, try to find an equation which provides k is equal to form, then take dk by ds and equal to 0, you will get the values are points which you can fix it in the k value and check whether it is positive or not. If it is positive, then it will be a breakaway point or a break-in point, and it depends upon where the point located. Whether it is between adjacent poles, it is going to be a breakaway point. Whether it is between adjacent zeros, it is going to be a break-in point. Now, for this case, okay, how the shape of the root locus will be a circle. To find the radius and center of a circle, you can take the sum of these 2 points divided by 2 and the difference of these 2 points. Even I can write that. The sum here is nothing but minus 2.366 minus 0.64 divided by 2, which is going to be minus 1.5. Okay, it is obviously minus 3 by 2 will give you 1.5. If you take difference, what is the difference? Minus 2.366 plus 0.634, then you will get obviously a value which divided by 2 will give you 0.866. So the radius, the center is minus 1.5 and the radius is going to be 0.866. And if you take a compass and if you take a radius actually and draw it, actually it will cross, it will touch those 2 points, breakaway and break-in, and you will get a nice circle there. So for whatever the value of k you choose from 0 to infinity, you would probably have your root locus inside your left hand side of the S plane. That is what is there in this diagram also, final diagram. Even this okay, this is not actually fit to the scale, but this is going to be 0.86. This is also 0.866. Okay, all the radius of the circle will be 0.866. So if you have a compass and if you draw that, or if you have a scale, mark various points around from the center and try to join those 2 points, join those points, then you will get a nice circle there. And if you can see that if this comes between 0 to 0.78, that is from here, this area, okay, this is going to be overdamped because it is it is the zeta value is going to change. It's a typical problem, an example of a problem where you may have the number of poles and zeros are similar. Is that okay? Any doubts here? So for your internal examinations, you will have controllability and observability from your 5th unit and your 2nd unit completely. So from tomorrow, we will be discussing about our next unit actually. We may move towards the 3rd unit, frequency response analysis. Already you know that your mode of examination is going to be conventional with the, probably I can stop the recording please. Just a minute. Meanwhile, you try to tell me whether you have a doubt in this problem.